Hi guys, so in this video I'm cover UFO version 4. I just released this recently, maybe about a week ago, and I put together this blog post covering some of the differences because it merited it. So in this version, the big thing is low balancer support, and I'll cover that in a bit. And in this video, I'm just going to go through and give you a couple sentence summary of these different sections. If you want more information, there's this blog post right here that covers in more details with also links to each of the additional sections. So here's a summary of the changes. There's a much fuller CLI toolkit now. There's a bunch of different commands in the CLI now, not just UFO ship, but basically it looks more. This is inspired from Heroku. Heroku CLI is a very great CLI there, and a lot of those commands I kind of moved over, but UFO doesn't have a database and it doesn't have state store, so it's kind of the equivalent without state store. So UFO PS is going to list processes, and here's an example of this in line on this blog post. It will show you some useful information about the ECS service, including what I'm calling the pretty name there, and then the full name that was actually generated now by CloudFormation, which I'll talk about near the end. It also tells you how many running, I guess, tasks there are, and the designer task tells you the ELB DNS endpoint if one was created and if one's available. And then it lists all the processes out there for you. One of my actually favorite commands is this UFO current command. The UFO current command, I'll just kind of open the reference documentation to it here, actually allows you to set the current environment. And then so you don't have to actually type the service name, or it allows you to set a current service so it doesn't so you don't have to retype the service name over and over. You just type like right here, UFO PS. I didn't go UFO PS demo web. I just said UFO PS. So that shortens actually a lot all the commands that use it. And you can find out more information in the reference documentation link right there. So load balance support. So this was the main reason why I bumped it to version 4. Before, with UFO version 3, you could use load balancers, but you have to pre-create it. You have to create it, and then you use the target group's ARN, and you pass it into the UFO ship command. Now, you don't have to do that. Now, if you don't have a load balancer yet, that's not a problem. You just run the same UFO ship command, and then UFO will create the load balancer for you. So that's pretty sweet. If you still have like an existing load balancer for whatever reason want to use that, and the load balancer that's created and managed by UFO doesn't fit your needs, then you can still pass in an existing ARN. Like here's an example of that. That's pretty cool. That's saving a decent amount of time there. So that I'm pretty happy about that feature. Okay, updated tutorial guide. So this I just updated this guide to make sure that everything's still working. There's a notable mention here. The Fargate docs actually include another guide in here. It has another video there, but that also basically it shows you a tutorial and demo how to launch an ECS service with Fargate with UFO relatively quickly. Security groups. So security groups there are some security groups that are created by UFO. It's all covered in this UFO security groups documentation, which I'm gonna have to link it there. But here's one right here. The link is right here. It talks about the security groups right here and kind of what they do. And also, there's a link about talking about the ECS network mode, the pros and cons of that. That's the link right here. And that's because security groups only work with AWS VPC network mode. And there's some pros and cons with the different network modes you're trying to use. Basically, one offers you more control, but then you have one more thing to worry about, which is the limit of network cards you have available to the EC2 instance you're kind of running on. So that's something to consider there. Improved Fargate support. So before in UFO version 3, there's Fargate support, but what you have to do is you have to go in this file, UFO params.yml, and you have to kind of massage it and make sure that parameters you're sending to the AWS API or SDK were the correct ones for Fargate. So you don't have to do that anymore. Now UFO infers whether or not it should send the Fargate parameters to the API call, or in this actually CloudFormation, because it can do that from the ECS task definition that you define. So you don't have to get one thing right now. All you have to do is make sure your ECS task definition either supports Fargates properly in the right format and syntax, or the EC2 launch type instead. Extra EMV support. So this is a cool concept that actually that I borrowed from another one of my projects. And this concept, it just allows you to pretty much change this one variable, UFO EMV extra, and then that allows you to spin up another environment or ECS service that's duplicate of the same demo web service. So you know that question that always comes up, usually from a product manager or somebody who or even developer who needs another environment to deploy another branch of code. Well, you could now spin up another environment or ECS service pretty much with no work. You just have to specify environmental variable, then that's going to launch effectively another CloudFormation stack with this parameter appended to the end of the stack name. And in doing that, it will create a brand new ECS service for you with load balancers, all right? Because load balancers now support it officially. All right, CloudFormation implementation. So I actually put together some thoughts of mine on why I went with CloudFormation here. I was trying to avoid it for as long as possible. Not like I don't like CloudFormation. I was just trying to keep UFO as simple as possible. But in this version, it merited adding CloudFormation or using CloudFormation as implementation because mainly load balance support merited. And the cool thing is the way CloudFormation support is implemented. You actually have this CFN settings file here, and in this settings file, you could actually control or override any property parameter for any CloudFormation resource that UFO generates, and this is all covered in this documentation here. So you still have pretty much a lot of control over the resources, actually even more control over the resources that UFO launches. All right, upgrade guide. Because this was a big upgrade and I changed a lot underneath the hood here. You need to have to go through an upgrade process now. Remember before I just made raw AWS API calls to launch and update the service. Now I'm using CloudFormation. In doing this, when you run your UFO ship and create a new ECS service, it is going to just create additional ECS service. It's not going to actually update the version 3 versions. If you've used UFO version 3, it's not going to update that service in place. It's going to leave that behind. So what you have to do is actually ship UFO again, then pretty much do a upgrade like a DNS switch, and then save to delete after you tested it, delete the old service. And this guide will show you exactly how to do that. I think that's it. That covers pretty much everything. So, okay, I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you guys like it, then be sure to like it and give it a thumbs up and share it. And if you like more videos like this, subscribe to encourage more content like this. Cheers, guys. See you next time.